And a very good afternoon to you, or good evening, should I say. My name is Sarah. You're listening to the Modern Mystic Radio Show on A1R Psychic Radio, the world's #1 psychic radio network. And it's with my greatest pleasure that I am not alone today. I have a fantastic guest with me. She's an international clairvoyant medium, a very prominent figure in the psychic industry. And I'm going to welcome her straight in. Her name's Nina Ashby. Hi, Nina. How are you?
Fine, Sarah. I'm very happy to be here on Modern Mystic. And here in the UK, it's rather early in the morning. So I'm happy to be with you all here in the United States. And for those late night people who are still up.
Yeah, those early birds as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming onto the show. It's a great pleasure. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, really, to get us going, really about your psychic work. So if you could tell me a little bit about how you work.
Okay, well, my first gift is working with color and auras, and I've been seeing auras since I was a child, so that was the first kind of entry into the psychic world. But in order to find out about what I was seeing and being able to interpret what I was seeing, I studied many, many different disciplines. So I learned how to be a clairvoyant. So clairvoyance is actually, one could say that aura reading is a form of clairvoyance. So it's my ability to perceive through sight. But I also am clairsentient. I've got all the psychic gifts except clairaudience. I don't get anybody whispering in my ear, but I can do mediumship. And if they want to come through, they come through, but it's not my primary gift. I also read cards. I do palmistry. I do graphology. I work with astrology a little bit. So numerology. I know a lot of ologies. But basically, what I do is I tune into the person. And I begin to give them what I perceive around them. So if people want to call in today, I'm really happy to give some readings and demonstrate, what I do. And what I'll do is give a little bit of aura. I'll choose a card, for them. And then I will do some digging into their energy field, basically.
Oh, fantastic. So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned that you first started off by seeing auras. Tell us a little bit about how you actually saw them, what they looked like, just to give an idea. Maybe we've got some people out there that also can, are able to see things, but perhaps not able to sort of put it into any kind of context.
Right. Well, the aura is the energy field that surrounds us, and there are many different layers to the aura, but the visible aura with the psychic eye is like a cloud of color around people. So one could say I might be hallucinating color around people and objects and trees and every living thing I see color. I see the energies moving. And people's auras have a particular shape, and there's a notional norm to that shape. Of course, I then look at where there may be indentations or areas of the aura that don't seem as dense, or that they're moving, or they look darker or grayer, or where there's changes in color. I see the chakras, which are always churning out energy, and look at how they're operating. And the aura is a very beautiful cloud of color. And you can tell a great deal about somebody by looking at their aura. You can tell them very deep things by seeing the colors in their aura, because even when you see them, you're also picking up other information. You're picking up feelings. You're picking up like images that are stored within those colored clouds associated with the chakras. So people's stories, people's lives, things that are happening, things that have happened, things that are happening, and also the trends of things that will or could happen potentially in somebody's life. Because I'm sure you know that, and I'm every week say this, is that we have the ability to, we create our life, we create our energy field, and we can change, we can recreate it, and we can change our destiny through the choices that we make. So readings that I give are very empowering, they're very positive, because even if you see difficult things in life, they are the agents for change and understanding.
So does the aura change significantly as you're looking at it? Is it a shifting, moving kind of energy, or do you find that it is kind of stationary for you?
Well, auras are a reflection of people, so there are things that don't move very much. In other words, those things, those parts of ourselves that are fairly fixed and habitual. Then there are things, then there are the moment-to-moment thoughts and feelings that we all have, and that's more dynamic part of the aura. And when people interact with other people, I see the connections, like the fronds of energy that connect with other people's auras and mix and change, and how that affects the chakras. So I'd say that auras have colors that change, but in differing kinds of ways, because it's not just a simple rainbow around somebody, it's something that's 4 or 5 dimensional.
Mm-hmm. And you also do Akashic record readings, is that right?
That's correct. So when one reads the aura, there's lots of different levels or vibrational frequencies that one can go to get information. So the aura is more than just that visible colored aspect. The aura actually is the whole of our energy field, which is more than who we are physically, much more than who we are physically. And it stores information at many different levels. So you've got your sort of your personality body, which is that colored aura, and you've got, and those are what I call your current files. So things that are happening now, or things that have happened in the past that are triggered now. And then you have the upper astral field, which is more the mental plane body, which is what I call the back files. So it's the things you don't dig into very frequently, but we can pull data or information from that through memory, through dreams, etc. And then you have the higher level bodies, which relate much more to one's soul pathway and pattern. And of course, those are reflected in the lower layers, but to work at that higher vibrational frequency, what I do is I move my own awareness up to that part of that person's energy, and then I can read what they were in past lives, how that perhaps relationships that are going on now, what they meant in those past lives to now. So it's a kind of a reading that one can do at that level, but one can also do healing at that level too, because it's a very active level. It's like a bigger cloud where things are more dynamic because the vibrational frequency is higher. We are electromagnetic beings, and we are actually able to make change at every level of who we are.
Okay, fantastic. So just tell us a little bit about how you first entered the whole sort of psychic reading arena. So when did you sort of go from obviously seeing and experiencing auras and having spiritual experiences as a child into actually using that to enable you to help other people?
Well, it was a very long process because it wasn't acceptable in my family. So I had to just shut myself down and find a way to deal with that. So I decided I was very artistic, and color, of course, excited me so much. And so what I did was I became an artist, and I studied to be an artist. And that's what I did. So it was an acceptable form of being able to express what I was seeing and feeling and doing out there in the world. And of course, when you train to be an artist, what happens is you are trained to keep your sight open, your vision open. So it was unconscious, my unconscious mind, my higher self was pushing me in that direction where from an intellectual level, I was drawn to keep that sight open in spite of the fact that I wasn't allowed to talk about it or I had no context for it. But I became in my teens very interested in yoga and meditation and astrology. And I started, to keep a long story short, what I did was over a period of 15 years while I was a professional artist and medical secretary, I studied everything I could get my hands on. I studied, I was nuts. My friends would say to me, why are you studying this? So I studied psychology, I studied every form of divination, I studied vibrational healing and vibrational medicine. And then I decided to change my profession, and I became a massage therapist. And when one works with the body, you're in touch with the etheric field, which is the electromagnetic body, and my psychic abilities were, much more clearly. So I could say I had 15 years of training before I became able to actually do readings with any confidence, etc. So my first professional reading was in 1979, and I've been working since then.
Wow.
I moved to the UK in 1983 because I was told by my guides while I was running a yoga center for 2 weeks, I got this message in my mind. I go to London. Every time I sat down, go to London. I said, why do I have to go to London? You know how we all fight with ourselves, Yeah. What do you mean go to London? I can't afford to go to London. I don't know anybody in London. Why do I have to go to London? And every time I would sit down, they just said, go to London. They wouldn't give me an explanation, which is, of course, how spirit works, because they don't want to give you explanations. They want you to trust, right?
Yeah.
So I arrived in London. I said, okay. If God wants me to go to London, then God's going to have to make it happen. And it did happen. It was like a series of miraculous events. And I did arrive in London. And the day after I arrived in London, I was staying at this yoga center because I was teaching some classes. And they said, well, would you like to come and give yoga demonstration? We have a stand at the Body, Mind, and Spirit Festival. And so I said, yeah, okay, fine. And I walked in, and there they all were, the psychics, the healers, the readers, everything. It was fantastic. And I got shivers. And that's the day I met the man who I subsequently married.
Wow. Oh,
so I met my husband. And that's why I had to come to London. And we had a very magical time. And anyway, I met him on July 4th, and I married him on December 4th. So I went back to the States and cleared everything, and my place in Montreal, my place in New York, packed everything up and moved to England. And I've been here ever since. And I've done a lot less body work here than I do psychic work. And I've had the pleasure of writing for magazines, being interviewed for magazines, working on TV. Since 1995, I've been working on TV on and off in various ways and doing a lot of radio shows and teaching and writing books. I have 2 books out. I'm working on another one now. So I have Simply Color Therapy and Develop Your ESP, both quite simply written for the beginner, but also a very good teaching tool for people who out there who want to get ideas for teaching their own classes or use that material. So it's good, and it's not a regurgitation of anybody else's work. It's a lot of perception of my own things that I've seen, particularly around auras. So that was a great pleasure. So that's where I am now.
So is your partner also psychically inclined, or are they more grounded in that respect?
No, my husband's deceased now. But he was an energy healer. He was into Kabbalah, and he was a very wise and erudite man. And he was psychic in his own way. Mm-hmm. He was intuitive. He wasn't a psychic like I was a psychic, like I'm a psychic, in the sense of he didn't see colors. He got his information mentally. And great. But he taught me a lot, and I taught him a lot. So that's the way it should be. And we have
amazing story.
Yeah, I mean, so many interesting experiences that we had working with people, and I was very blessed. 32 years together. So.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. That's so interesting. We're going to go on to our first caller just in a second. But before we do that, can I just find out how people can contact you if they would like to book a session with you or find out more?
Okay, they need to go to my website. And it's really easy to remember because my website is www.ninaashby.com. So Nina, Nina, Ashby, Ashby, all one word, .com. And they can contact me through the website. There's a contact thing that sends an email, or they can email me at ninaashby.com.
Oh, fantastic.
They can email me at ninaashby.com. So it's quite easy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I just wanted to get that in there.
Thank you.
As we run out of time at the end. So we do have our first caller. This is Katie from Tulsa in Oklahoma. Katie, are you with us?
Yes.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Hi, I'm going to pass you straight over to Nina. Do you have a question for Nina?
I do. I just want to know if I'm on the right track with what I'm doing, or if I need to kind of step back and, kind of check things over, look over everything before I go ahead and keep moving on.
Okay. What I'm going to do is take a moment to tune into your energy, as well as choose a card for you, Katie. Or actually, why don't you give me a number between 1 and 10, please?
7.
Thank you. 6, 7. Okay, just one moment.
Okay.
Okay, well, I feel for the last 4 to 8 months, things have been in a state of flux for you. I feel you've been going round and round in circles trying to make a lot of decisions about the way forward. And I feel that that this has been a product of a time when, after a lot of sadness in your life around personal relationships and disappointments about other people. And I feel that this last period has been a time of you coming into a new kind of control over your own self, control over your own decision making, and which is something that has been a challenge for you in your life. Would you say that's true?
That's very true.
Great. Thank you for that validation. So when I look at your aura, what I'm seeing is 2 different pathways. And I feel that the old pathway is the one that you don't want to go down, but it's very hard to move your energy from there onto a new track. Is that right?
That is very right.
Because the new track you don't really know how you can do it. You don't know how you can find the way to get the finance, to take the time, to leave the things that are secure for you in order to find this new way forward. And I get this idea of having to study something or learn some new skills in order to actuate this new pathway. Is that true?
Very true, yes.
Great. Okay. So what I'm seeing also about your character and nature, Katie, is your dominant energy color of your aura is a blue color. And it's kind of sky blue color. And what this means is that you're an all or nothing type of person. So everybody's dominant aura color will describe their personality traits, their challenges, and their great abilities. So your best abilities, you're great for organizing other people. You're great at being able to respond to other people's needs. And that's a great gift, and it's a great flaw, because sometimes you're much too into the pleasing mode, and then you have had trouble prioritizing yourself. So that's the kind of feeling that, you're trying to get past right now.
Yes.
And
yes,
blue people have trouble with decision making because they need to be right, they need to be perfect, they're frightened of taking risks, etc. So, but you're great at organizing other people. So any kind of, things about strategizing, you're very creative. You want to do something that's more about helping other people too, because I feel you've been doing something that's very boring just because you fell into it, and that, you stayed there because it was bread and butter, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what you want to do is totally down the right track for you. And you need to take a deep breath and take that risk to go forward, because every time you think about going back to doing what you were doing, you get sick. Okay? You get sick to your stomach. I'm not telling you you make yourself ill, but it's almost like, you get that feeling in your gut. It's like, or you become completely demotivated. So the only thing to motivate you is to go in that new direction. So I want to say, take the risk, go for it. I feel the next 3 weeks, it's almost with you now. The next 3 weeks is a key to organizing yourself, doing some research. Stop being in your head and get out there and do the research you need to do in order to begin to make this happen. And as you begin to commit, your energy is going to flow and you're going to find the way forward. You don't have to see how you're going to get there. You just have to believe you can get there. And you will. Because that's also part of the law of attraction, which you're studying too, right?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bless you.
Wow, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Really, really helps me a lot.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And off she goes. And thank you, Nina. That was absolutely amazing. I just wish I had another couple of hours with you. I've got so many
Well, you can have me on again sometime.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Just quickly, before we finish up, is there anything sort of like major that you've got coming up? Anything new that you'd like to talk about or mention tonight?
Okay, well, if anybody in the UK is listening, and whether they're listening to the recording, I write for Spirit and Destiny magazine. They're crystals, questions and answers, so have a look out for that. And I have nothing planned as far as teaching is concerned at the moment, or other shows, but I am available for readings and healing, and I see most of my clients online now via some kind of video platform. So if you live very far away from where I live in London, it's not a problem. Most of my clients actually are from all over the world. So please do contact me.
And just a quick reminder of how they can do it, please, Nina.
www.ninaashby.com, or you send me an email at nina@ninaashby.com.
Oh, thank you so much. We're going to have to leave it there.
Okay.
And if you want to get a reading with myself, I'm also available on www.modern-mystic.co.uk. I'm going to wish you all a lovely week ahead, and I'll catch up with you same time next week. Goodbye for now.